feeling good?
Fabulous.
Awesome. All right, awesome. We are back in once again, Broken Generation. To my right, I've got a young man named
Danger.
To my left, I've got a young lady named
Tash Frootko.
Awesome. So Tash Frootko is, how would we call her? I was going to say rainbow lady, but we just discussed she's not a rainbow lady. She's a colourful lady who's had a great past, and we're going to converse about that. She's had been in the news quite a bit. Had loads of conversations around, been spurred a lot of conversations in the community, so that's great. Specifically around some of the work that she's done. So let's get into this, guys.
No time like the present.
Splendid. So Tash, let's say, how would you describe yourself?
Colourful, pretty confident, and a lady on a mission.
Yeah. I love it. Tasha, so talk about, so most of our viewers will know you from things as of recent from Hopar Street. So you've been kind of involved with, or kind of leading the Hopar Street transformation. Awesome. You've done plethora of other streets. I may do other streets in the future. Possibly, yeah. That's good. So let's talk about specifically Hopar Street. So what's brought on, or the desire to do what you did at Hopar Street?
I'm not from Gloucester originally, I'm from Essex. And I came to Gloucestershire in 1999 to go to Hartpury College, because I used to be a dressage horse rider.
Yeah.
And that kind of all stopped when I was 21. Ended up living in Cheltenham. I inherited some money, wanted to make a business, and I started buying houses in a state of disrepair to rent to students. And it all made sense in Cheltenham to do it, because St Paul's, where I live, is all student houses.
Yeah.
So I bought a couple there, and then I went on this crazy 3-month road trip around France and Italy in the back of a VW Polo.
As you do.
Which I was telling you guys about earlier. Yeah, you can get a bed in the back of a Polo. And then I got back to Cheltenham, and I was like, right, I'll need to, quite like to buy some more houses, and it was just so expensive in Cheltenham. And my housemate said to me, why don't you live in Gloucester? And so I got in the car, had a little Google search.
Yeah.
Found some places that were potentially up for sale, ended up buying a property, and then a few more in quite quick succession because I had a really cool builder. And I just wasn't happy with how the city looked. And I wasn't happy with people's mentality and mindset of the city.
Yeah.
So loads of people are negative when they say they live in Gloucester, which is just like, it's nuts because it's a beautiful city.
I love the city.
Yeah,
I love the city.
It's an absolutely wonderful city, but a lot of it looks like it needs a bit of TLC. And I think that's the same with any town and city, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But I now had this opportunity and the desire to make the streets that I bought houses on look better. I mean, why wouldn't I? Like, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Plus, when we were doing up a house, I'm quite lazy, so there was quite a lot of time where I wanted to skive.
Yeah.
So I'd find any opportunity to go and talk to the neighbours and sort out their rubbish, fly tipping, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just made sense. Why don't I paint the fronts of their houses bright colours? Because I know how powerful colour is.
Yeah.
I've lived a really colourful life. Yeah, I've travelled a lot.
Do you have a favourite colour?
Oh, probably this colour.
Purple?
Fuchsia, yeah.
A fuchsia? Okay, yeah.
And I tried to colour match this dress actually for my house. I took my dress into B&Q. And I think I was wearing it, and I think I was put it up, up on the counter to try and colour match it. Well, they couldn't get it because it's too vivid. Sometimes you can't get the pigments in them. So anyway, I bought a few houses, and then I painted one of them light pink, and everyone just kicked off on the street. It was like, you're not allowed to paint your house that colour, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And they thought that there was some sort of rules against it because the whole street was just grey or cream.
Yeah.
So I had to do a quick contacting the council, which took about 2 months for them to get back to me, to find out am I actually allowed to paint houses. And they were like, yeah, as long as it's not in a conservation area. So I then bought some houses on Nettleton Road, and really proud of what we did there, because when I bought the property, when I googled Nettleton Road, all it came up with was murder. There'd been 3 murders on Nettleton Road. And I knew that part of the city centre of Gloucester because I used to work here. I used to be a door-to-door sales rep. And we always used to kind of avoid the city centre of Gloucester. Because we were scared of it. I mean, it sounds so nuts now because there's really nothing to be scared of. But anyway, I was 21, so I thought, everyone had given it such a bad rep. So I just went on that. And then I remember I was sat in Station Road car park one really, really miserable December morning. And I just looked at this row of houses and I thought, you know what, there's the canvas. It's city centre, it's 12 houses. I'm going to paint them bright colours. And I did it. And you know what? I did it in secret. Didn't want anyone to know it was me. We were painting those houses -5 in January 2018.
Wow.
I didn't want anyone. I wanted to be like a Banksy.
So which was the first street you?
So
painted?
Nettleton Road.
Nettleton Road.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2018 painted them. We only painted like 5 or 6 because I can only get those permissions. And then the local press got hold of it, and then the national press, and then it went viral on the internet.
Okay.
Now, I didn't even have a smartphone until that point. I had an old Nokia C2. I am well old school. I'm not interested in social media, wasn't interested in being in the media, wouldn't even have my photograph taken. In fact, I wouldn't even give them my surname. And then they said, we think we've got your surname, but we don't know how to spell it. And my whole life, my surname's been misspelled. So I thought, you know what, they can have that. And then the next day, the national press came round, and it was quite funny. It was this reporter, he couldn't write it, had like a reporter's jacket on. I could just tell, like the Notebook, I'm like, hi, you're a journalist? He went, yes, I'm from South West News Service. And I'm like, okay. And I got on really well with him. We had to wait a couple of hours for a photographer to turn up. And it was a really good opportunity for him to get to know who I was and the psychology behind what I do. And I took him into the 2 houses that I own on that street, and they're like crazy. I mean, I used to decorate. I used to run my own music festival. So I know how to like decorate and make somewhere look amazing. So I took him into the houses, and he was just like, "Say what? Like these are wicked." And the gardens look like festivals.
Wow.
So the story came out in the national press the next day, and he called me an artist, Tash Frootko artist. So I've never been called an artist before. Really pissed my brother off because he was the artist of
He's
the
the real artist.
He like texted me straight away. Yeah, piss artist, Tash. not proper artist. You know, Central St Martin's. So that was quite amusing. So went on from there, and then that gave me the confidence to then take that template to what's now known as the Rainbow Street, which is St Mark's Street. And that was really cool because that all happened in lockdown 1. So, you know, we were landlords, so we didn't have to stay inside. And, you know, let's paint a street that's outside. So, you know, we did that all in lockdown 1, and that was so cool because I think we kind of kept a lot of people on that street's sanity because we got everyone included that we could, like, to get involved. And, you know, that hit national press. And again, it took us like 3 months because we went through like 8 painters.
So are you actually we'll go through this in a second, but are you asking each individual house?
Absolutely. So
whole process.
You know, how I start on a street is quite canny actually because I need to fix the street before I paint it. So I'm not buying houses on streets that are necessarily nice. You know, they've got massive antisocial behaviour problems. The main one is the littering and fly tipping. Like these streets look neglected. But you know what's really rubbish is that they're making loads of money, generating loads of money for landlords because every street I've painted in the city so far is 80% plus rented.
Wow.
So you know, look at that psychology. So back in the day, that would have been owner occupied. Everyone would have had total love and you know desire to keep that street looking good. But when they all passed away, there was just this big rental market boom in Gloucester. So loads of people bought the houses and then kind of sucked the soul out of that street. But in the you know at the same time making loads of profit. So why is my attitude so different? So I'm a landlord. If I buy a house on a street, I love that. I fall in love with the house, like I nurture, and then I fall in love with the street, and then I fall in love with the people on the street. And I just want to make that street.
So you're a different type of landlord because most landlords are thinking of the dollar sign. Or the pound sign, shall I say? The sterling.
Pound sign,
or the crypto in the future, we'll see. And they're thinking about profit. So you as a landlord going in thinking about not necessarily profit in and of itself, but thinking about actually improving the street, improving the community, the psychology behind it and all that stuff is a big difference. There's a big difference.
Absolutely. And until the most recent project, Hopewell Street, I have self-funded the projects. So guess what? I've given pretty much all of my profit to the city of Gloucester and the people of Gloucester to improve the look of it because the knock-on effect of when you improve, when you vastly improve the appearance of somewhere where people live, everything else just starts falling into place.
Yeah.
So people will start having pride. You know, people are starting to say, I really like Gloucester. I really like living on these streets.
Yeah, facts.
You know, it's amazing. And then people take care of it. It's like you create your own army. Like everyone starts working together. Everyone's met each other during the transformation.
Which is one of the reasons why I reached out to you, because I've seen and I've heard in terms of conversations people feeling better about that area, specifically Hopar Street. Because when I walk down there, my barber is literally around the corner. Not the barber on the corner though. No disrespect, he's a decent barber, but it's techie. It's techie. He doesn't fade like anyway. Sorry. But I saw people smiling, and the response to what's done at Hopar Street. I was talking to you about like a TikTok I saw of a young girl who was like dancing in the street, and all these good things are real positive things for the people in that area. So for me, I just want to applaud you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. And especially in terms of you saying that for a number of the ones that you were doing previously, that you paid and funded it yourself. Like, I love Gloucester. I ain't doing that.
No, it takes
not even over close. It takes exactly.
Yeah, I know, and I was actually quite embarrassed to kind of talk about it because it sounds like there must be some hidden agenda.
But that's why I think it's really important to say that, because
no hidden agenda. It's just
perfect.
Complete love and desire and want to make people's lives better. Honestly, there's no other hidden agenda. But you know what's really great about what I'm doing is that, you know, after the Rainbow Square, so I went back to Nettleton Road and then I did that whole square, and that was just like catapulted again. Like it was just whoa, because now I could start introducing these massive murals into the rows of colourful houses. You know, there are people doing like Cheltenham Paint Festival's amazing, like don't get me wrong, but then they just, you know, they take the sides of buildings and paint them, whereas mine is a whole, it's like a 1.5-year project. So I go in and I'm fixing all the issues with the street, I'm uniting that community, and honestly I wear about 6 different hats. The painting of the houses is just the final piece of the puzzle. That's kind of like the easy bit.
And I think that's the thing that people see. But so these other hats that you're holding or you're putting on, tell us a bit more about that.
So I have a lot of experience when it comes to the littering and the fly tipping issues, the poor standard of housing. You know, landlords, rogue landlords, we've got so many in the city. And unfortunately, the council, who are custodians of our city, they just don't have the staff. So it's like the city's spun into a whole world of chaos. And, you know, the reason why you have these streets that look like they've been so neglected and why people don't want to live there, or like loads of bad stuff's happening, is because it's just kind of become a bit lawless. So I have to sort out all of those issues before I paint the street. Otherwise, you know, imagine me doing it and then flying off like Mary Poppins and the street just goes back to looking crap.
No, I hear that.
That would break my heart. I mean, you'll see me like around the city at 5 o'clock in the morning litter picking. I was down Hopewell Street this morning. You know, sorting out problems on Barton Street as well now. And my next street, which is in the same area, which is High Street.
Oh, you're announcing it?
Yeah, sorry, that doesn't make me get that. But, you know, High Street's the project for next year. And that is like just like insanely stupidly massive.
That is like, I did. So are you gonna? Are we going to talk about that? Because you sure? Are you sure? Because I think that's going to transform everything in terms of different cultures.
Absolutely.
Like High Street is a big thing in terms of demographics that's in that area. The amount of streets that's in that area. I'm mad excited to see what that looks like.
And you know, I've had my eye on High Street for ages. Of course I have. But you know, I also had my eye on Hopewell Street because in November 2021, this was before I did the Rainbow Square, I decided, and you know, I must come across as being quite mad.
Not mad.
I drove around the city to
Slightly strange, actually.
I drove around Gloucester. Well, I kind of knew where to go actually, to find the street that had the most amount of problems.
Purposely. Oh wow,
that's what I did. I set myself out a little mission one Monday morning at 7 a.m. Like just going, and I went to Hopewell Street because I kind of had an inkling that there were issues there, because a couple of years before I'd driven down, I'd reported 27 fly tips on that street to the council. And as I was driving down the street, I think I wound my window down. Well, I didn't, it's electric, but it sounds better, doesn't it? I am old school, but I've got electric windows. And there was a guy on the street, and it's so funny because I now know exactly who he is.
Okay,
and I said to him, what do you think's happened to your street?
Yeah.
Like, what's gone wrong here? And he went, I've been here for 60 years and it's just gone to
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, and I couldn't devote enough time to it there. And I just had it was on my radar. So I went there and I'd had a smartphone for like 3 months. So now, oh goodness, now I can video, can't I? Before I couldn't.
Okay.
So I'm like, right, I arrived on this Hopewell Street and I'm like, oh my God, this is really bad. And I remember I Googled like the Environment Protection Act and like what, and the Clean Neighbourhoods and something Act 2005. Like this city council need to be picked up here for like failing. Yeah. And I think I read out some legislation while starting on my video. And I walked up and down Hopewell Street. And I don't know, at the end of it, I was angry.
Yeah.
I was like really upset that I was seeing kids walking through that on the way to school because it's quite a busy street. It's got quite a busy cut through Hopewell Street. And I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna try and fix it. And I was blagging it big time. Do you think I honestly knew how to properly do it? No, but obviously I do. You've got to trust your gut, haven't you? And I was there literally for every day. I was like a chicken, like a chicken on a nest of eggs. And you know, there at 7 o'clock in the morning in the pouring rain, making sure fly tipping, recycling. I think I delivered like 160 green recycle boxes, you know, black bags, educations, 27 different nationalities on that street, and 84% of the houses are rented. Wow. So like, you know, when you just look at the correlations, all of these streets.
Random question, is that the same landlord?
No, not at all. Oh, okay. No, loads of different ones. At the start of the street it was all one landlord, and that was one of the big bits of the jigsaw puzzle. I see it when I start on the street, chuck out like, I would say St Mark Street was a 500 piece. Yeah. You know, Rainbow Square another like 500. Hopewell Street was 1,000. I think High Street might be a couple of thousand. But it's all right. I've got little things. I've got stuff I'm already in the planning stage. There's loads of stuff happening behind the scenes. But no, Hopewell Street's just been the most insane success.
Yeah. So let's dive into one more area. Yeah. So let's talk about you specifically. Yeah. So where are you born? Where are you from?
So I was born in Oxford. Yeah. Moved to Essex when I was about 5. Yeah. And kind of just wanted to run away from home when I finished school. Yeah. So I didn't want to go to university. I was going to be like a really like good dressage horse rider, but unfortunately I found the people really boring. Like I was talent spotted as like the next best dressage rider, but that was a weird set of people. So I ended up living in a mobile home on a horse yard in Buckinghamshire because I just didn't get on. I've got 3 older brothers and we just fought all the time. And I was in this mobile home, and I don't know if you've ever slept a winter in a mobile home.
I've never been in a mobile home.
I can't say
It's absolutely freezing, condensation city. And I think there were 2 dogs with fleas, and it was horrible. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get that UCAS book. Yeah. The one that I know, I was the only person at school that didn't get it. Yeah. And I'm gonna get that UCAS book, and I just filled in my own application. Yeah. And I think I let on to my parents that I was going for an interview after I'd had the interview. Okay. Yeah, so I ended up going there, Hartbury College, and I met my now, partner. We've been together for 24 years. He didn't go. He wasn't at Hartbury. He's like 9 years older. Met in a nightclub in Cheltenham.
How'd you do?
And we got together a couple of years after. Yeah. But that's why it was just obvious to stay in Cheltenham. But since I've been, doing stuff in Gloucester, I've actually kept one of the houses.
Oh, amazing.
So I keep that as my Gloucester home. So we kind of go from home to home. I'm renting my house out in Cheltenham at the moment.
Okay.
So I love it. And there's no way I would have stayed on those streets unless I'd painted them as a rainbow. Yeah. And the street I've got in Cheltenham looks really boring now. And everyone's like, why don't you paint that one?
So that's what I was going to ask next. Have you got plans to expand? So your projects are currently only in Gloucester.
Yeah.
Is there plans to expand? Because there's other areas around Gloucester, not Gloucester, but Stride, Cam, Dursley, that could do with some brightening up.
Yeah, I've been asked by loads of places, haven't I? But do you honestly think I'm going to up sticks and leave Gloucester? No chance, mate. I'm here. I'm devoted to this city. I love it.
No, I love it.
That would be so out of order. Yeah, I'm just going to go to Cheltenham now. Yeah. No, I'd hate her if she did that. Yeah, but no chance. No, all the projects are here, but people don't understand that I do this all voluntarily. Up until now I've paid for it myself, and I do have a business to run, so and these projects take what you see is 5 weeks, but it's not. It's like a year and a half that Hopewell Street, and still today I'm still a bit nervous about leaving it. So I'm there every morning, and I've got someone checking it at night for me. Do you know what I mean? It's like a bit over the top.
No, but I like the way you speak of it, like a hen and eggs.
Absolutely.
Because there's still an attachment to it. It's not like you just dropped a bomb and ran away.
Oh, never. All
it.
of the streets that I've decorated, I adopt them. I'm the mother on all of them. And there was an incident down Hopewell Street the other day. Someone chucked their cigarette butter in their garden and set fire to the next door's hedge. Yeah. So unfortunately, there was like 3 fire brigades down there. It was all well over the top for what it actually was. But I think I had like 12 WhatsApp messages. I was on my way down to Bristol. I was trying to go out for one night. But I spun round, turned around and came back to make sure everything was alright, and it was fine. It was just looked like it was worse than what it was. But no, it is like a full Mary Poppins experience. Like I find a street that needs to be fixed, I fix it, and then she flies off, but I don't.
You stay around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look after that street.
Find the next street.
Yeah. So in terms of community, conscious of time to be that. In terms of community, how can the community support or help you, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so I 100% need the community to first of all trust me, and to back what I'm doing, and I just get such overwhelmingly positive responses from people, and everyone kind of knows who I am now, so it's getting a lot easier. But like you touched on earlier, I have to knock on every single house. I have to convince the person that lives in the house to either try and speak to their landlord to get them to ring me, which is tricky. Sometimes people don't speak English.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But there's always means and ways. Do you know what I mean? Nothing stops me. And the community have been insanely backing me in the Barton and Treadworth area because I was so excited to work in this part of the city. It's my favourite part. It's the most part. It's the only part of the city that feels like a city.
That's a fact.
I absolutely love it, and I just can't believe people's majority of people have such negativity, and but they're only people that don't live it in the area. No,
and people that don't go to the area, because a lot of people say bad things about the area that they've never been,
and they've never been,
and they're scared, but
nuts.
if they actually walk down the streets.
Oh, absolutely! Honestly, I couldn't have. I love it. I'm actually considering moving to Treadworth.
Oh, nice.
For real, yeah. So, so absolutely, the community play a huge role in it, especially the children.
Okay.
So, on this last project, so up until now, self-funded, right? And it was just like, can I really continue to do this? So my business, I'm a landlady, right? So I've got loads of mortgages. So as we all know, interest rates have gone sky high.
Facts. Yeah.
So that's going to massively affect me now. So can I really be donating that money to the city? I need to kind of hold back the reins a little bit. And just so happens, because things do align, I think if you're doing good stuff in the world, good things happen.
Karma.
And this money became available through Levelling Up Together, Gloucestershire County Council.
Okay.
So that came up, and it's nuts because they were able to get really up-to-date statistics from the census. Okay. So Barton and Treadworth was looked at as one of the most deprived parts of the county. And
just on that note, we did encourage people to do the census. Can you remember?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Powers.
But I tell you what, they knocked on your door if you didn't.
Oh,
they were well on it.
Really?
My mate was one of the people doing it. Wow. It was quite good. She got £10.50 an hour. She was
nice.
It.
To knock on doors.
Yeah, literally, you had to fill that form.
Yeah.
It
was digital.
Well, it was quite, they were quite relentless with that. So this census stats came up. So Gloucestershire County Council, well done, because no other county council applied for any kind of funding. And then it was like, you can apply for some funding, and I'm like, well, hang on a minute. Like, what I do is, I think the definition of a place levelling up. Make somewhere look better, and other things will slot into place. People that haven't got a lot shouldn't be living in the worst looking areas. It's like a double no. It's not okay. It's just not okay. So I had to get all grown up and set myself up as like a company. That was quite weird. Didn't really want to do that, nor did I really want to get money off a council, because I'm quite non-conformist. I've done it all by myself. I've had no help from anyone. Do you not think that I asked the council for money? They said no. But this was the county council, so it's very different from the city. And I had support from the county councillor of the area, so I was successful on my application, but they didn't give me all the money I need. I've still got get a third of what I need.
Yeah.
So I'm now having to go through grant applications and stuff. So, you know, for me to really do what I want to do on High Street, I need more funding.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'll get it by any means means necessary.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's it. But no, community amazing, the children amazing, and I've been going into all the local schools.
Oh, okay.
And that has been like the highlight of this project.
So name some schools.
Oh, so Treadworth Primary,
nice.
Treadworth Infants, Al Ashraf Junior, Al Ashraf Secondary Girls, Widden, and Haverley Infants.
So that's a real community.
Yeah.
That's literally, yeah.
Like, come on kids, you're coming on this colourful adventure with me. And they're like, I do assemblies at the school. And I'm like, right, who wants more Rainbow Streets? Oh, you got this, like, it's nuts.
I can imagine with the younger children.
Yeah, wicked. And I've got these, like, I've got the old Travel Fox trainers that I wore. I had a documentary made about me. It's called Painting the Rainbow City. It's just on YouTube. I didn't, like, I've got the copyright to it. It didn't go, like, major, but it was nice. It documented my work. And I've got the trainers in it. And I said to the last assembly I did, I said to the kids, every time you see the trainers, shout trainers. The trainers were in it like 30 times.
It shows they're watching.
Don't. They all bring the kids in like, shh. And I'm like, I'm just going to make them go mental now. It's like, why not? And then it was just so cool because the kids were like coming to the street after school and Tash, and, you know, I was introducing them to the painters, and, you know, they are the people that I want to inspire the most. But it seems to be like multi-generational. Like, we're getting people from all ages like loving what we're doing. Yeah. I think it's really important that something this big's happening in the Barton and Treadworth area. You know, everyone can see what is happening. It's not like something big's happening behind a closed door. This is like in your face, high impact.
I love that. I love inspirational people, or people who are inspired and actually live at it. Because I think a lot of people just talk. I mean, I've been in conversations, and to some extent I've been a talker as well, so I'm not like downplaying everyone, but talking is one thing, but taking action is another thing, and I think you're inspiring other people to take action.
Absolutely. And there will 100% be a ripple effect from what I'm doing. You know, I did it all off my own back, totally off my own back. It's so courageous, it's really ballsy. You know, do you not think that I've filled with self-doubt at so many times? And I never think the next project's going to like be better than the one before, but they just seem to be getting better and better and better. And that's like the drive to keep me wanting to do it, because it's really hard work. Oh my God,
I could tell. I could tell.
Yeah, it's full on. And then it's not just the fixing of the street and the gaining of the permissions. It's then the whole street paint, but then it's the whole media that I attract with it as well. I mean, I've been out on Sky News last week, GB News. I've been in conversations with a big Australian TV channel that are going to have me live on their breakfast show this week. You know, I've been in the Times newspaper. It's like, and every interview I do, I massively big up Barton and Treadworth because it's exactly what it needs. And you know what? It doesn't matter that I'm not from the area, because you know what? Most people aren't.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know, we're all outsiders, really. I mean, I'm from a Lithuanian Jewish peasant family originally. My parents ended up in Africa, you know, and I've ended up in Gloucester now. You know, it doesn't matter where you're from. If you've got a vision and you can do it, just do it.